Alrighty. Hello, everybody. I made it into my seat just in time. Ooh, slid in like the kids. Slid into home base in last night's World Series game. Okay. There she is. All right. My internet gonna behave? You know, it wasn't my internet, it was my, it was just my computer. It froze. Hey, Novolux, thank you for the 5 months. Love seeing these 5-monthers. How's everybody doing? It's your birthday today, Stargirl? Happy motherfucking birthday. Hope you're having a great day. So, good news. I finally got back on my Peloton today. And the reason why is because earlier today I told Will, BR, thank you for the 4 months. I told Will that I wanted him to hold me accountable. So I would get back on the Peloton after like a year. And around 5 o'clock, I came out to the kitchen. I was still in my pajamas, okay? I woke up early. It was one of those days where I just didn't take my pajamas off. I come out and he was like,
Happy 3 months smile.
Thank you, Bionic Squash. Smiling. I'm smiling all over the place. So I come out around 5 o'clock from my computer where I was signing up for new healthcare, which is something that I feel like I have to do all the fucking time. And he goes, "Did you get on the Peloton yet?" And I was like, "No." So he comes over to me, like to grab me, and he's like, "I'm bringing you over the Peloton right now." And he's bringing me over, and somehow I like tweaked my back. And then I was like, "Ah!" And he was like, "What happened?" I go, "I don't know." So I go into my bedroom and I'm laying down on my bed. I'm like, why is this happening to me? I go, "I need you to go over there. I'm almost done signing up for my healthcare. I need you to pick a higher plan, okay? Right now, I'm not on a good enough plan. Go pick the one that's the best. Because I'm probably gonna need it." So anyway, I got signed up for a really good healthcare plan. But then once my back stopped doing whatever it was doing, I was like, okay, I have to get on the Peloton. This is embarrassing that I got injured on my way to like go to the Peloton. Somehow. So I did it. I did a 20-minute ride. I felt my lungs exploding, which is always a great sign. You know, that's the thing about cardio, right? When you haven't done cardio, even in like a week, which for me, it's been a long time, when you finally do cardio, you're like, and then you swear that you're never going to smoke anything ever again, which I said today when I told myself on the Peloton, I'm never smoking anything ever again. I'm never smoking nicotine. I'm never smoking weed. I'm never smoking anything. McCormick, thank you for the 2 months. Yeah, this is the thing. Like when you're doing something such as cardio, You make all these promises to yourself. You're like, okay, great. I'm never going to do any of these things ever again. Yeah. So I made that decision today. Tore your meniscus doing a warm-up lap at the gym. Oh. I mean, I've been there. When I had a gym membership, I went one day and I remember hurting myself during a warm-up. It was like, I wasn't even doing what you were doing, a warm-up run. And then I was like, this is really embarrassing. There's nothing worse than when you are not that old, right? I'm 30, and you get injured doing something that is too embarrassing to admit was the cause of the injury, right? It's one thing if you're like, yeah, I was doing an Ironman. I was climbing a mountain. For me, it's like, yeah, I was walking from my bed to the fridge and then something happened. Brother-in-law hurt his back while brushing his teeth when he was 40. Oh, that's in the cards for me, for sure. Huh. I'm sure that is coming my way. Song is so good, always. This might be my favorite Fleetwood. Did I see Our Flag Means Death? The first season? Yes. Is there a second season out? Wait, how is this possible? You guys, I didn't even click on Average Joe. I just went to look at I went to go look at Twitter, which I have open up. Look at the ad that's playing on Average Joe. It's a Peloton ad. They're always listening, even from 2005. Wait, but how is there a Peloton ad? What's going on? There's also nobody on the Peloton. The gremlin in my computer is listening. Never love me again. Never break the chain. Oh, I don't know if anybody ever read the book The Chain, but I just saw that Emma Stone. Oh, never mind. Well, 2 days ago, I saw that Emma Stone was supposed to star in The Chain, the film adaptation, and I just clicked on it now and it said, no, Emma Stone will not star in The Chain. See? Look. This is the internet for you. The Chain. Emma Stone reportedly to star in Edgar Wright's upcoming kidnapping thriller. Emma Stone not cast in Edgar Wright's thriller The Chain. What? Oh, God, that's funny. Fake news. Could I suggest a song you may dig? Sure. You can't. What's the book about? So it was actually like pretty good. You know, sometimes like thrillers that become popular are just like beach reads. Rumors. I see. Okay. I'm gonna listen to this in a sec. So The Chain is a book that came out. When did this come out? This came out in 2019, and the premise is that a mother is being targeted by this like cult or some mastermind underground group where her daughter is kidnapped, and she receives a letter saying that in order to get her daughter back, she has to continue the chain. Jared Leto. Yeah, it's Jared Leto who kidnapped her daughter. She has to commit a crime to save her kidnapped daughter. So it's like this chain of people, like normal people, doing terrible things because their kids have been kidnapped. So this mom is setting out to break the chain. Yeah, but Emma Stone is not starring in it anymore, I guess. She was, and then she wasn't. Oh yeah, this is my shit. GG's on Master Baker. Thank you. It's hard to believe it's over. So apparently Kim Kardashian bought this necklace that used to belong to Princess Diana. And first people freaked out, and now it's just become a meme. Like, look at this shit. Everybody is just memeing it. I'm gonna be honest, I don't give a shit what she buys or what she doesn't buy, right? Like, people... I think there's a lot of things to fairly... I really like this song, by the way. I think there's a lot of things to fairly criticize her on, but I don't... She wants to buy a necklace that y'all didn't know existed before. Who gives a fuck? Let the woman spend whatever for this ugly necklace. Y'all didn't know it existed before? Okay. Yeah, I mean, she does a lot of things that are terrible and deserve criticism. Her buying a necklace that used to belong to Princess Diana. Who cares, okay? I don't think most people who say they give a shit actually care. Yeah, I think she's such a polarizing figure that people love to jump on whenever she's being shit on, right? Like, if Kim is in the headlines, which is always, and it's for doing something bad or, you know, not really bad, but people are saying it's bad, people just love to be like, yeah, I can't believe Kim Kardashian bought Princess Diana's necklace. Has she no respect for the dead? Has she no respect? People just don't want to work anymore. They need to get off their asses and work. Anyway. It's weird she's buying dead people's belongings. I mean, listen, if the necklace is up for auction and she buys it, Whatevs. Yeah, this song is a vibe. Now, do I think the necklace could contain a curse? Yeah. Do I think that that's a potential horror movie? Yeah. A famous influencer buys a diamond cross necklace from the deceased Princess Diana and then opens up a portal to hell. Yeah, I like it. Somebody write it. I'm giving you guys great ideas. What else is happening in the world? Well, it's pretty remarkable watching this this war break out between Steven Crowder and people on his side, and then the Daily Wire. I mean, this is incredible stuff, you guys. This is really incredible stuff because, first of all, I say it all the time, right? Right-wing grifting pays. I mean, seriously, if I were out here pulling a Candace Owens, am I going to be getting paid 50 mil? Am I doing the wrong thing? Like I said, it'd be so easy for me to right-wing grift. You know, I'm a woman. I'm Asian, I'm loud, I'm opinionated. All I have to do is just start making shit up and being super heinous. I mean, it's fucking crazy how much money the Daily Wire has. Like, I knew they had money. That is a bag, dude. 50 million for 4 years? I was like, well, shit. What up, Ben Shapiro? Hey. Mm-mm. No, I would never sell out. Okay. I swear. So anyway, it's just, you know, we always love infighting, okay? We love to see the girls fighting. And they are fighting, right? It's really funny too because it seems as if Steven Crowder doesn't understand how contracts work, or he really is just even dumber than that and thought that the attention and the follows that he would get from exposing Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire was enough to make up for the loss in the 50 mil that he was offered.
Caroli 182 dance.
Bayleaf 9, thank you for the 4 months. You know, it's like, which one is it? Does he really not understand how contracts work? Or did he genuinely think that it was worth going to war with the Daily Wire over $50 million? So he's giving up 50 mil in order to get like a few more followers? I don't understand. Just like what Denims is saying, let the girlies fight. Yeah, I mean, it really does expose though how much fucking money is in the right, or is in right-wing media. Like, we knew it was a lot, but that's a shit ton, you know. We don't have anything like that on the left. You know? I mean, this is why guys like Glenn Greenwald and Jimmy Dore totally sold out, right? I mean, they're assholes to begin with, but there is so much more money. And same with like a Bari Weiss and Dave Rubin. Yeah. There is so much money that you to be had from just being a fucking right-wing sellout. Crowder was literally asking for primetime news anchor money. Yeah, and I mean, honestly, listen, I hate Ben Shapiro and I hate the Daily Wire, of course, but that is a very standard thing in a contract where if you don't deliver, if you do not do your deliverables, so like producing a certain amount of episodes or, because of the nature of Steven Crowder's work, he is extremely hateful and says a lot of incendiary things. Not that like Ben and people with The Wire don't, but Dave, that's his whole thing, right? It's the change my mind meme. And so he has built into the contract, like if you get banned on platforms and so you're not bringing in revenue, then you like that hurts us. So then we're going to have to take it out of your contract. Like that's pretty fucking standard. It's like if you don't make us money, then we need to be able to protect ourselves, right? If you're too racist, like we want you to be racist. We want you to be bigoted and hateful, but you just need to be smarter about it. That's what we do here on the Daily Wire. Yeah, I mean, Crowder has said so many anti-Semitic things, and it's like Ben Shapiro, who is a Zionist, was still down to hire him and pay him a lot of money because at the end of the day, that's all it is to Ben, right? This guy clearly doesn't give a shit about uh about his his Jewish heritage. Like he was about to hire a guy who has said so many horrible anti-Semitic things. Sam brought up a good point. The DW guy put to light, literally all right-wing media is funded by individual billionaires, not like corporations. Literally sole billionaire owners funding the right culture war argument. Yes, that's why there's so much money like that. It is true. So it's funny, like these guys, I mean, we already knew they were hypocrites. We knew they were liars. But it really just does kind of further expose how full of shit that they are, right? Like these people are in the pockets of billionaires who are controlling the puppet strings. Yeah, and the culture war has been very profitable, right? And there's a lot of people who have seized upon this knowledge, right? Like it pays to be hateful. It pays to be hateful and loud and over things like trans rights and drag queen culture. Ben will pretend to be the reasonable conservative, push back against things like the Pelosi gay prostitute conspiracy. But Daily Wire literally pushed that shit. Yeah, I mean, they're smart about what they do, right? There are certain things that Ben like it's all planned, right? It's all tactfully done. So, the there are certain people with Daily Wire who will push certain things, like certain certain narratives into the media. And depending on what it is, Ben will take the position of either like arguing against that, but not really arguing against it. But it's all, he's very smart about what he does. Yes, and he has always been careful to dis to disguise his arguments as not just being, not just being loud and bigoted and hateful for like for kind of like the showmanship of it, right? Like there's a lot of right-wing pundits who their whole thing, like an Alex Jones, right? His whole thing is being controversial. It's being really loud and controversial, and like that's his shtick. Um, that's never been Ben Shapiro's shtick, and he also like I just know he I mean he's been malding online, but he's so fucking angry. He is so angry that Crowder went and did this. You weren't looking at the screen, an ad came on. I thought you just burst out into song. Well, I do that, so that's not surprising. Argue against it in a way that manages to gaslight and blame the left wingers, then the dishonest narrative he's standing against. Yeah, no, he's very dishonest in the way he argues, but he presents his arguments as he presents his arguments in a different way than like a Crowder does. So that's why he wanted somebody like Crowder, right? He wants that just brash hatefulness that it's like a character. Crowder called him the smartest guy he knows. Well, it's actually, yeah, I mean, Ben's whole thing is facts, not feelings, right? Facts, not feelings, baby. It's funny too because obviously Ben and the Daily Wire, they are so pissed. They're so fucking pissed. But he's smart still, right? In doing all this, where he's like, I can't just come out and treat him the way that I treat people on the left or liberal media. Like, this was the same thing with Kanye, right? When Kanye came out and was like saying, DEFCON 3, the Jews, and, Hitler was a great guy, a lot of people on the right were like, okay, we need to kind of treat this with like we can't support this and be for this, but we cannot come out and treat this like we treat drag queens, because we are still on the right and we need to minimize the public appearance of that the right is fracturing. I feel like they all hate each other though. you know? Like Ben probably hates Candace. Oh my god. Because of this shit, right? Like, okay, first of all, this person's a fucking idiot because they're subscribed to Daily Wire. But after listening to the call with Steven Crowder and the Daily Wire CEO, I'm deeply regretting my Daily Wire and subscription. Wish I could have given my money to stop BakeCon.com. Whatever. Like, this is just a random tweet. But now Ben needs to be careful. He's got to come out and obviously debunk what Steven Crowder is saying, but still not create this like giant fissure on the right, because they're two of the biggest names, they're two of the biggest figures in right-wing grifting. Steve Crowder, it's just so funny that like it's so funny because they all love to point the finger. They all love to point the finger and accuse accuse each other of things. So in this instance of being in bed with big tech, like they are, like they are the sole person remaining in this country with morals, right? Like they haven't been paid for years by giant corporations who have an interest in, protecting their product or, pushing forward these false narratives. Like all of these fucking people are in the pocket of some corporation or some billionaire or, this is not, nobody is independent. I mean, look at me. I'm in the pocket of Jeff Bezos. Right? None of us are safe. We should do a right-wing creator clash. I would love to see that. They all get in the ring. They all get in the ring and they have to fight each other. Yes, George Soros is. We are also all in the pocket of George Soros. Every single person who is left of center, every individual is being paid off by George Soros. Okay. So here's the plan for the stream tonight. We are going to we're gonna look at some we're gonna look at a genre that has quickly become my favorite, and that is called training videos from the 1980s. Just incredible stuff. And then we are going to cover any news. I don't really know if there's really anything besides this war that's been breaking out on the right. And then we are going to watch Average Joe season 3 episode 2, and then possibly have a little Beyond Belief, and then I will be fighting my way through Alien Isolation later tonight. Did we talk about Alec Baldwin? I talked about Alec Baldwin yesterday. So Alec Baldwin, just a quick little recap, has been charged with involuntary manslaughter for the terrible accidental death of Helena Hutchins, who was the cinematographer on his movie Rust. So this happened back in October of 2021. Alec was he was rehearsing in a scene. It was, he was given a gun that was called out that it was a cold gun, meaning that it had only blanks in it. And when he was being directed in a rehearsal, somehow the gun went off. He's claiming he didn't pull the trigger. The prosecutors in New Mexico are saying that the only way the gun could have been fired is if he pulled the trigger, and it hit Helena Hutchins. She was killed from that, and then the bullet hit Joel D'Souza, who was the director of the film. He did not die, but he was injured from that. So Alec has been charged, and then the armorer, Hannah Gutierrez Reed, has also been charged with involuntary manslaughter. And my take on it was that since Alec is being charged because he's not being charged as a producer, he's being charged as the actor who was the one who held the gun. And the prosecutors are saying that it was his responsibility as the actor and the last person to handle the gun to have checked the gun. And because he didn't, they are trying to charge him with gross negligence that led to the death of Helena, and charge him with involuntary manslaughter, which faces up to 5 years in prison, which is bullshit. That is bullshit. That is not a standard in the industry that actors are responsible for safety. when you're on set where firearms are being handled, they specifically hire people like Hannah Reed, who are professionally trained, and it is their job. It is their job to handle the guns and ensure safety. So I don't think Alex should be charged. If they're going to be charging anybody, it should be her, which they are. And unfortunately, if somebody needs to be held responsible for this, it should be the armorer. Can an actor even tell apart a blank? I mean, I'm sure there are actors out there who are trained in guns, who have that knowledge and that experience, but you cannot expect every single act. Like, that is not the role and responsibility of the actor. The actor, when they are on set, they are, especially if you're Austin Butler, you're only in character, right? You're running through your lines, you're thinking about your blocking, you're focusing on making this look realistic, especially if you're handling a gun, trying to look like you know what you're doing, listening to the director, just there's a lot going on that is your responsibility as the actor, but ensuring that a gun being used in the scene is safe, is actually cold, is not your responsibility. Yeah. Now, I think that, I think that having the take that Alex shouldn't be charged in this doesn't mean that you have to think he's a great guy or you have to like Alec Baldwin. Those two things can exist simultaneously. Like, I don't like Alec Baldwin. I think he's a real asshole, but to be charged with something like this, involuntary manslaughter, is it's ridiculous, and it then sets a standard going forward that actors will be held criminally liable if something happens on set in a scene where they're in it. There's a lot of people who think the main prosecutor is doing this for notoriety and to make a name for herself, because it really doesn't make any sense. Like, his entire legal team was surprised, was shocked when they found out that they were pressing charges. Because they settled they settled the civil case. That's over and done. And so, they found out yesterday that he was being charged, and his whole legal team was like, this is ridiculous. Like, obviously we are going to bring down the full might of the law on this, and he will not be prosecuted. I imagine the actors on set had safety training or briefing. Even still, like, the union came out. So SAG-AFTRA is our actors union. They came out to denounce the prosecutor's decision to charge Alec, and they were like, whether or not actors are, receive training on set, or they themselves individually have had training or trained for the film, it is still not a precedent that it is their responsibility to ensure that props are safe. Like, that is why people are hired for those jobs. Like, they hire experts whose sole job is to ensure safety on set. Right? So, like, it's kind of similar with sex scenes, right? It's not necessarily the actor's fault if the other actor is uncomfortable with the scene. That's up to the director. That's up to the intimacy coordinator. That's why they now hire intimacy coordinators, so they can choreograph and rehearse a scene that requires intimacy with actors. Probably a political angle to it. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking that as well. Obviously, this is happening in New Mexico. This is happening in a district that is pretty conservative. And obviously, a lot of people on the right hate Alec Baldwin. They've hated him for years because of his politics um and the fact that he he impersonated Trump, and they thought that that was rude. No, I really do think that she's looking. I think that the head prosecutor on this is looking to make a name for herself with this. I really do. I think that this is a career move. And the thing with Alec too is that his career has suffered since the shooting. He has lost he's been dropped from like major films that he had a role in, and now he's kind of been stuck with doing very small low budget kind of know nothing films. Yeah. So it's, he definitely has suffered career-wise for this. 100% PR, and then she goes on the media interview and absolutely flopped. She was so nervous and sounded dumb. Let me hear. Alec Baldwin.
Prosecutors in New Mexico have just announced that actor Alec Baldwin and the armorer on the film, Rust, will both be charged with involuntary manslaughter for their roles in the fatal movie set shooting back in October of 2021. The film's cinematographer, Helena Hutchins, was killed. The film's director was injured. Josh Campbell's back with us from Santa Fe. He's with Santa Fe's district attorney, and this is her first TV interview since the charging decision. Josh?
Yeah, thanks. I'm here with the district attorney. Madam District Attorney, thank you for speaking with us. I just want to start. How did you come to this prosecutive decision?
Why was that so awkward?
Well, along with my special prosecutor, we got the report from the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office. We initiated an extensive review of that, and I will say that it was a well investigated case. But we had some follow up that we had to speak with some experts, and once we read through everything and researched the case law and the law here in New Mexico, we realized that we believed that there was probable cause to charge Alec Baldwin and Hannah Gutierrez-Reed with involuntary manslaughter.
And what were some of the key pieces of evidence that you used that factored into that decision?
Well, that there was such a lack of safety and safety standards on that set, that there were live rounds on set. They were mixed in with regular dummy rounds. Nobody was checking those, or at least they weren't checking them consistently. And then they somehow got loaded into a gun, handed off to Alec Baldwin. He didn't check it. He didn't do any of the things that he was supposed to do to make sure that he was safe or that anyone around him was safe. And then he pointed the gun at Helena Hutchins and he pulled the trigger.
You talk about the safety on the set. As part of your investigation, was there one thing that was done or one thing that was said that sealed it for you that this should be prosecuted?
No, actually, I think it was the totality of the circumstances, that this was a really fast and loose set, and that nobody was doing their job. There were 3 people that if they had done their job that day, this tragedy wouldn't have happened. And that's David Halls, Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, and Alec Baldwin. If they had just done their basic duties, we wouldn't be standing here.
Can you help our viewers understand? So this state,
it's just like so. That is, I don't know. I'm just speaking from. I'm just trying to speak from like being in this industry. That is not a precedent, and so they're not making it clear. Like, are they? They're not charging him as Alec Baldwin, the producer. They're charging him as the actor who had the gun in his hand, who pulled the trigger. I think Hassan is right when he said that Alec didn't need to be checking it because that's what the safety protocols are for. I mean, again, this is like they take the safety protocols seriously by hiring. Now, again, there were a lot of corners that were cut on this film. I agree, but they literally had a professional armorer on set whose job it is, whose job is to ensure safety of the guns that are being used. And even still, as the producer, right? Like to me, he did what he's supposed to do, which is hiring somebody as an armorer. I don't know. I mean, okay, let's see. Who else has talked about this? Mike from PA and Hassan. I didn't see what either of them said. I'm kind of interested what their takes are. Will had a take. Well, Will and I talked about this together. So I'm pretty sure he agrees with me because we kind of talked this out. If I'm an action actor, I'm looking into comedy movies from now on. So Hassan said that's not his fault and he shouldn't be charged. And then what did Mike say? Mike from PA had really. So Mike thinks that he should be charged. Huh. I mean, yeah, this will definitely be precedent setting. This will, oh, here, let me move that. This will definitely be precedent setting one way or another, right? I am sure now that as an like other actors who will be finding themselves in similar situations where they are on set, they are handling a gun. Now I'm sure that they are thinking to themselves, well, I guess I need to check this gun, even though, you know, there's an argument to be made that you don't want the actor as the last person checking the gun in the line of safety in case they accidentally were to do something that would make the safe gun unsafe again. Why the, yeah, I mean, Mike was under the impression that it's the actor's responsibility. No, that is not a defined safety protocol. Let me show you, here, I'll pull up. Okay, so here's exactly what SAG-AFTRA said. Okay. The death of Helena Hutchins is a tragedy, and all the more so because of its preventable nature. It is not a failure of duty or a criminal act on the part of any performer. The prosecutor's contention that an actor has a duty to ensure the functional and mechanical operation of a firearm on a production set is wrong and uninformed. An actor's job is not to be a firearms or weapons expert. Firearms are provided for their use under the guidance of multiple expert professionals directly responsible for the safe and accurate operation of that firearm. In addition, the employer is always responsible for providing a safe work environment at all times, including hiring and supervising the work of professionals trained in weapons. The industry standards for safety with firearms and use of blank ammunition are clearly laid out in Safety Bulletin 1, provided by the Joint Industry-Wide Labor Management Safety Commission. The guidelines require an experienced, qualified armorer to be put in charge of all handling, use, and safekeeping of firearms on set. These duties include inspecting the firearm and barrel before and after every firing sequence and checking all firearms before each use. The guidelines do not make it the performer's responsibility to check any firearm. Performers trained to perform, they are not required or expected to be experts on guns or experienced in their use. The industry assigns that responsibility to qualified professionals who oversee their use and handling in every aspect. Anyone issued a firearm on set must be given training and guidance in safe handling and use, but all activity with firearms on a set must be under the careful supervision and control of the professional armorer and the employer. Okay, so Mike's take was due to getting rid of the OG weapons person because that person was reporting safety issues and then brought on someone that wasn't keeping up with protocols or having safety meetings. He knowingly was creating an unsafe workplace, so he was negligent. That was Mike's take. Okay. Yes, I understand that. So did they charge Brandon Lee's shooter? No, they did not. This is the first instance, I believe, where something like this is happening. I need to check and see what kind of producer Alec was on the film. Because the thing is, it's like, okay, if you charge Alec for this, then you might need to be charging other people. If the argument is that Alec Baldwin was responsible for creating a safe environment, then there are a lot of people who you could argue then should be charged alongside him. So let me see. Mike's take. Okay. Let me see this.
The cover because it's fucking wild. They are charging Alec Baldwin with manslaughter. They are charging Alec Baldwin with manslaughter. And if anything funny comes up with the Crowder thing, we'll return to it. This story is fucking wild. If you didn't know, chat, Alec Baldwin, as a producer, hired a bunch of scab labor. And one of them was an incompetent armorer, which gave him a loaded real pistol. And he shot the director of cinematography to death. And now he's being charged with murder.
Now, actor Alec Baldwin will be charged with 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter for the fatal on-set shooting of Rust cinematographer Helena Hutchins. The film's armorer, Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, also faces the same charges. In New Mexico, involuntary manslaughter carries a sentence of up to 18 months in prison and a $5,000 fine. In addition, Baldwin and Gutierrez-Reed each face a firearms enhancement, which carries a mandatory 5-year sentence if convicted. While filming in October of 2021, Baldwin was holding a prop gun that contained,
so in other words, 10 years, baby,
a live round of ammunition when it discharged. Hutchins was fatally shot, and the film's director, Joel Souza, was injured. Baldwin maintains he didn't pull the trigger, but an FBI forensic analysis of the gun
They aren't a scab, and you're wrong, claiming they loaded the gun with live ammo. Okay, to be fair, I'm going off of old information. Old information that I got from my IATSE people when the strike was, when there was a contract negotiation and dispute going on before IATSE had signed their new deal. There was word that Baldwin had hired her because she was a Nepo baby and that she wasn't going to strike.
Okay,
that's what I thought.
I mean, honestly, whether or not that's true, I don't think that is. First of all, I haven't heard the prosecutor mention that at all, right? And second of all, I still don't think that is strong enough to say that Alex should be charged as the one who shot her. I really do think that his lawyers could easily be like, she is a professional armorer. The producer's job is to ensure that they have hired a professional gun handler on set. That is what they did. She did not do her job properly. The gun he was handed had live ammunition. It was called out to be a cold gun. And then there. I also, yes, I agree. I do think it's being reported
If
poorly.
there's new information.
Because it does come across as that he is being charged because he was the guy holding the gun, that he's the one who fired the gun with live ammunition, that this is what they're saying, that he should have looked inside the gun to double check that it didn't have live ammunition. And they're saying because he didn't do that, his gross negligence in not checking the gun is what led to her death. That is, the prosecutors are saying, as the actor handling the gun, it was his job to check that gun. And I don't agree with that. I just do not think that is, I don't think that that's a precedent. It's not a precedent legally. And then also in the industry, like, it's a weird thing because, you know, a lot of what we're talking about is just like long-standing precedent that's not like written in the laws, but that is something that for years people would never say the actor is responsible for safety on set. And then in this particular case, like, the actor is not responsible for making sure that a gun they are handling is safe.
And feel free to bring it forward. I'm not against being corrected if I'm wrong.
Without the trigger being pulled.
And he was the producer, meaning he hired the armorer.
She disarms me, we go to lunch, we come back from lunch, and they hand me the revolver, the Colt.
And I just like so mean. It's Hannah again.
They arm me, and you're assuming, as we've done every time, that it's a cold gun for the rehearsal. She cleans the barrel every time, and she checks that the rounds are all cosmetic rounds, or nothing in the chamber for the rehearsal. She hands me the gun. I'm assuming she's done it the right way. She's done it the last 2 weeks. I put it in the holster. I pull it out slow. We're rehearsing. We're not filming anything. I pull it out slow, turn, cock the pistol, bang, it goes off, and she hits the ground.
In a statement, Baldwin's attorney said, quote, Mr. Baldwin had no reason to believe there was a live bullet in the gun or anywhere on the movie set. He relied on the professionals with whom he worked, who assured him the gun did not have live rounds. We will fight these charges.
It's very likely they had live ammo. They found tons of it on set, and some staff were firing that gun with live ammo in the morning for fun.
Okay, let me see. I mean, I just think that, like, I think that this is just like a complicated situation, because I think people are making an argument, you know, like Mike is supporting the DA's argument because he's approaching this as Baldwin, as the producer, hired someone who he knew was not a well-trained professional, and I just don't think that argument can hold up. And it's hard to base that as the reason to get behind prosecuting Alec. If you have a real gun in your hand, it needs to be handled with care and safety. Yes. So legally, on a set, if an actor is handling a real gun, there needs to be safety and training that is done. Now, it doesn't mean that legally the actor is responsible for ensuring that the gun is safe. Those are two different things, because, like, honestly, that makes sense, right? I hope to God, if I'm ever on a set where I'm handling a weapon, like a gun, that I am not legally responsible for ensuring that gun is safe. I would not want to use that gun then. I would be like, wait a second, I'm the last person in the line of safety for this fucking gun? No way. I got the impression that Hassan was stunlocked for an hour or two on chat talking about union busting, but really the charges seem to be about why you didn't check the gun. Exactly. It doesn't like listen, I'm not saying that like what they did with all the union busting stuff was right, but I don't think that this is the argument that the DA is making here.
If he on accident
charge
touches the
him.
trigger, at that point it is on, in my opinion, the AD and also the prop master, or rather the person who, you know, put bullets in the fucking gun. Now, if we're talking about Alec Baldwin's responsibility as someone who has control over the filming, if we're talking about his secondary responsibility, I don't know how much control he has over the process. I don't know how much he was like fucking pushing people personally. I don't know how much he can do as a producer. I don't know what his exact production credits are, okay?
Did you react to my react? Yeah, because I'm curious what other people's takes are on this. So I didn't know if anyone else is talking about this. And then people in chat said that you reacted to this and then Hassan reacted to it. So I wanted to get other people's takes. My take on this is the way that this has been presented is that the DA is charging him for being the person who had the gun in his hand, who pulled the trigger, who didn't check the gun before he used it, and that gross negligence ended is the reason why Helena Hutchins died. That seems to be, you know, based off of what the DA is saying, based off of what Baldwin's team is saying, what's being presented in the news. Like that kind of seems to be the reasoning to charge him for involuntary manslaughter. So the tricky thing is like, if this is a workplace death, that's the angle I care about. An innocent worker died because these cheap fucks cut out corners. Yes, I completely agree with that. The only thing is like, if they, so maybe they have proof that Alec knew that Hannah Gutierrez Reed, the professional that he hired, was actually not not a good armorer, not a real professional. Like if they can produce proof that he hired this person who he knowingly knew was not, was not good for this job, then yes, I think that there is an argument there to say that he did not ensure that this was a safe set. But what the DA is telling us is that they're charging him because he should have checked the gun himself, and he should have ensured that there was not live ammunition in the gun, which I just can't get behind charging him for that, because that is not the way things are done in the industry, nor should they be. Legally on a set, when you are handling guns, like if there are guns on set, you have to hire an armorer, right? That is ensuring safety on set. And then it is the job of the professional that you hire to train you, to go over safety protocols, and to ensure the safety of the guns. That is the armorer's job. So the actor has to be given safety and training, but they are not to be held liable, nor has it ever been considered the responsibility. This is just like longstanding precedent in the industry, and like what the union has put out as their statement and what they stand by, is that it is not the actor's job to ensure the safety of something like a real gun that they're using on set. They're like, the actor has been hired to act, right? And, when they are on set, that is their job. Their job is to say their lines, do their blocking. Their job is to do what they have been hired for, which is to play this role. Their job is not to ensure the safety of a gun if they're using it. And so that's why this is kind of this is just like really complicated because this really does seem to be why they're charging him. Can you sell it? But you can't separate Alec the producer and Alec the actor. But the same thing is like, I mean, but the thing is like, this is what I was saying, where if they're going to charge him as the producer because he's the one who hired the armor, then they're going to have to end up charging other people on set as well. And then it's just going to get really, really muddy because technically he did what his job is supposed to be, which is to hire a professional armorer for the set, right? If they did not have a professional on set, then this would be a no-brainer. So this is where I think it gets really complicated. Did they follow industry procedure? So, I mean, listen, I think it's fair to bring up, you know, they cut corners, they made the crew sleep in hotels that were an hour and a half away rather than like right next to set because they were trying to save money and yada yada. And that is a conversation that has been had in the wake of the shooting that happened in 2021. It's been a conversation in the industry. Just, it's not just Rust. It's a lot of films where corners are cut. Like this, you know, this is not the first and only film to do this. But I don't know. I just still think it is. If the prosecutors are strictly coming after him as the producer, saying that he didn't create a safe environment, then I just think that they need to put forth more evidence or make that much clearer, because that is not how it's coming across right now. Okay, but if it's the armorer's job, why would Alec also be charged? Because they are saying that, I mean, yeah, yes, I agree with that. But they are saying because he actually handled the gun in the scene and he was the one who pulled the trigger, that it was his, you know, it was his negligence. The armor didn't follow industry procedure. This is pretty clear. Sure. But again, you know, can they lay that blame on Alec, whether or not it's true? Like, do they have the evidence that he knowingly hired someone who was not equipped for the job, right? And I think this is where his legal team, I think this is what his team is going to go after. I think his legal team is going to come in there. They're going to shoot down this, you know, this argument that he is the actor handling the gun, was responsible for checking the ammunition, because that is just not an industry precedent. That is not anything that is written in law, and it is also not an industry-wide precedent. So then they're going to go, okay, well, he is the producer, blah, 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 blah. And so they're probably going to argue that Alec did what he was supposed to do, which was to hire a professional armorer on set. That was his job, and then it was the armorer's job to ensure that the guns were safe, and that she did not do that, and therefore she is the one who is legally liable. And you guys, I say all this as someone who can't fucking stand Alec Baldwin. I think he is an asshole. And I do think that there was a lot that happened on this film set that was absolute bullshit. If he can establish that he didn't know that procedure wasn't followed, then he should be fine. Right, and that's what I'm saying. So I just think it's just not clear cut from the producer argument, that, you know, showing that he purposefully chose to hire this person knowing that they were not competent, right? And knowing that they would not do the job correctly. Alec wasn't in charge of hiring crew. That was line producer. Okay, see, so that makes it even muddier, right? And that's why I'm saying, like, if they're going to go after him on this point, then there are a lot of people who worked on that film who then also, you could argue, would then be charged. And then this just gets so out of control. So, like, what I think is going to happen, I think that the armorer she will be held responsible. They will probably settle I don't think she's going to go to prison for 5 years. She will be found guilty, but I'm sure, you know, this will settle. And then I think Alec's charges will probably be dropped. But I think that this is a conversation now that I think that this is now, you know, going to be something that needs to be established industry wide. So this doesn't happen again. Now, a lot of the cutting corners and whatnot, that conversation, like I said, happened after the incident. But as far as like, you know, really, really making it clear who is responsible in a situation like this, should it ever happen again. And I think that they will stand by the fact that no actor should ever be considered responsible for it, because that is actually like, that in and of itself is negligible to rely on the actor to ensure safety. Like, that is not their job. That's why you have to hire people on set. You hire stunt coordinators, choreographers, intimacy coordinators, armors. Like, these are professionals who that their sole job is to come in and do that thing, right? The DA literally did a half-hour special interview. Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard not to see this as the DA kind of trying to make a name for herself. You know? It's like saying all actors should be animal wranglers and know how to handle animals. Yeah, I mean, you could open up a million, you know, hypotheticals based off of this idea that an actor is responsible for gun safety. It's a minimum with the gun enhancement of 5 years. There isn't a smaller sentence available. Well, I hope she's got some good lawyers. Because, you know, obviously Alec is the one who's kind of the front face on this whole thing, but she, there's no way that she gets out of being found responsible. So they're both facing 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter. A jury would decide which count would be more appropriate, and if convicted, they will only be sentenced to 1 count. Okay, so in either defendant's case, a conviction is punishable by up to 18 months in jail and a $5,000 fine. But one charge carries an additional firearms enhancement because a gun was involved and would require a mandatory punishment of 5 years in jail. So if Gutierrez Reed is only convicted on the 1 count of involuntary manslaughter, then it's punishable up to 18 months in jail and a $5,000 fine. But if they decide to tack on the additional firearms enhancement, then that would be a mandatory punishment of 5 years. And I mean, it kind of feels like if Alec gets out of this, and obviously this is just me speculating, but if Alec is, you know, if the charges are dropped or he is not convicted, it does seem as if they would bring the hammer down on Gutierrez Reed, and I'm sure his lawyers are pinning everything on her. Alec needs to call Saul. Yeah, for real. I'm saying that his prosecution could be based on facts that are in evidence that we, the public, have not seen yet. Yes, and I definitely agreed with you on that. Like, if they've got some smoking gun, no pun intended, that we are not aware of, then yeah, I guess I would, disregard everything I'm saying. It's just based on what the DA is saying and how, and the fact that they are not kind of being coy about it. And that seems to be where the, legal argument lies. That's why I'm like, ugh, IDK. Yeah. So I wonder too if he's going to keep maintaining that he never pulled the trigger. Like, I don't know if that really matters. The fast and loose safety standards on set and lack of caution around firearms props contributed to the final shooting. I mean, I think one thing is clear, right? Going forward, live rounds will never be mixed in with dummy rounds. Like, that is just are you fucking kidding? I mean, the fact that this gun had live ammunition, like, there should be no live ammunition. Mm-mm. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not a good look. Like, uh, did the DA go on Hannity? It's not a great look. Obviously, I'm not going to be out here being like, she's, I'm not going to push any conspiracy theories. It just is very surprising that in my opinion, it is surprising to me that they moved forward on the charges on him. It's also amazing that after Brandon Lee died on the set of Crow, that there are still movie sets where they have live ammunition. Like, you would think that this was the incident that would have set the precedent. So if you don't know, back in 1993, Brandon Lee, who is the son of the great Bruce Lee, died on the set of The Crow. It's a great movie. And he died after another actor fired a prop gun at him. That in this situation, in this case, the revolver was loaded with blanks, but the gunpowder in the blank cartridge ignited. So he unknowingly fired a bullet fragment at Lee, who then later died. So okay, this trial lawyer who's saying that filing criminal charges in the deaths of both. So they decided not to file charges in the aftermath of the death of Brandon Lee. Now, his mom did successfully sue the filmmakers, but it's because that it's usually very difficult to prove. So that's why, again, it's interesting that they are going forward with these charges on Alec, because the only similar situation, which is the Brandon Lee accidental shooting, they did not press charges. Okay, we know that industry standards weren't followed. The question is whether Alec as an actor and as a producer is aware of the fact and is responsible. Depends on the fact. My answer is that it could be yes or no. We can't make categorical statements at this point. Yeah, I would agree with that too. You know what? This kind of all started because I was talking about this, and I gave my opinion based on what the charges are founded on, and I said I can't get behind that. Then I was like, is anybody else talking about this? And they said Mike agrees with the DA, which obviously is that's not the full picture of what you're saying. They're like, and Hassan disagrees, which is also not the full picture. Like, it's just a very complicated thing. Like, I don't think that, again, I think we do need to wait and see what all the facts are, what evidence they have in order to fully, say what should or should not happen in this case. But as of right now, just based on what we have, that is my opinion. And, I think at the end of the day, all of this aside, this was a really, really sad tragedy. Somebody died. The hope is that this never happens again. You would think after Brandon Lee, I'm sure that we were like, I hope this never happens again, but I hope this really fucking never happens again. And I hope that, I hope that everything we've seen on the set of Rust, and Rust is not the only film that's out here doing this, but just the cost cutting of, cutting corners to save costs, taking it out on crew who are the backbone of every film, right? Like, movies don't get made without the sweat, blood, and tears of the film crew. And so I think that this is definitely a conversation that we need to keep having to make sure that none of this occurs, right? People who are being used and abused on sets, accidental deaths happening, like, none of this should be happening. So many work environments are unsafe. Yeah, and I think that, like, I think the film industry has kind of not like gotten away with it, but it hasn't had a microscope held to it as much as some, other work environments that are not the film industry. And I think it's interesting, like, if you watched Babylon, Babylon, my problem with Babylon was that, one, it showed you, behind the magic of the movies, like, how disgusting, like, what goes into making the movies, all of the behavior, all of the abuses, like, how just gross and vile it is. It showed you all that, but then the message at the end of the day was kind of like,
my TA money payment today.
but yeah,
podcast.
wasn't it all worth it? Because look at these amazing films that we got. And so I think, there's always the argument that, like, when you're making art, when you're making movies, there's just things that you can do or not do in the sake of making this beautiful, amazing thing. And then people see it and they're like, oh, great. And you kind of either just ignore or forget about all the shit that's happening behind the scenes. Eigen bro, thank you for the 3 months. Got my TA money payment today. That is poggers. They had union crew train their scab replacements. Yeah, I mean, as an actor, it's like that. This has happened a lot too, where you get like just all the cutting of the corners to make sure that you can fit inside this budget, but sometimes shit happens that's not so great and you have to suffer for it. But it's like, okay, well, I want this job, or I don't know when the next job would come along, so like, fuck it. All right, I guess I'm doing it. I guess I'll stay, legally, or I'll stay past what I'm legally supposed to and not report it or whatever. Appreciate your nuanced thoughts on this. I hope I wasn't too hot in my VOD. No, I don't think you were too hot. I genuinely was just like, I didn't see anybody else's take on this. So I was kind of curious what my fellow streamers were thinking in this particular in just regarding this particular news story. Oh. No, I again, like, I think this is one that you can see me, like, you can actually watch me working working through this on stream, which is always an interesting thing, right? I think that this is something too that, like, you, Hassan, whoever else is talking about, is working through the thought process on stream. It's sometimes you come in with a news story and it's just very, very black and white, like what the take is on it. This is one that you're kind of, you're seeing the gears turning. Hi. You getting ready to? Okay. Great. Chat is too hot. Well, guys, this is like, I think there's something when there's a difference between debating and arguing, right? And then I think that there are certain things where we need to extend some graciousness with people who might have a different take. This is not arguing whether or not January 6th was justified, right? If somebody is in chat saying January 6th was awesome, let's do it again, like, that's stupid. Okay, there is no need to have a nuanced discussion around that. But something like this, I don't want you guys getting mad at each other if somebody has a different take, or getting mad at whatever streamer, or fucking me. I don't really care, but because this is a little bit, it's trickier. It's very complicated, and we also still don't have all the facts on this. I'm sure this is something that more will come out. We'll have updates on this, but this is something where, like, we are all having a discussion on it. This is not a fight. So it's cool. It's all good. Yes, we're having, this is what I consider a conversation, right? This is a topic where we're having a discussion, a conversation, a little bit of a debate, but this is not, this is not arguing. This is not me seeing someone's response and being like, banned. Yeah. And you can disagree, you can agree, but I don't think that this is something where, like, I'm not hot. I'm not heated. I think as somebody who works in the industry, this is something that feels kind of close in that I genuinely am like, wow, what is going to happen? What kind of changes are we going to see in the film industry from when this incident happened to now, this news that he's being charged with negligence. So, oh fuck. I was like, you know what? I've talked enough about this, so I'm fine if it Fs. I'm fine. Oh yeah, it was probably right when he went live. Yeah. You want to know the difference between Hassan and I is that I can talk about, I'm like, wow, I've talked about this forever, and I've probably been speaking on it for 30 minutes. I'm like, great, I'm ready to move on. I've talked about this way too long. I'm so ready to move on. Like, I talked about the Steven Crowder thing for 15 minutes. I was like, that's good. Good enough. Oh no! Shit. Okay, how are we doing? Is Will effing? Let me see. Hmm. Shit. Yeah. Oh fuck. Um. Damn it. Damn it. William? Fuck, 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 fuck. Popping in and out. Shit. No. Oh yeah, his audio is dropped. This fucking... Damn it. Damn it. Okay. I just tried to tell him that his stream is apping. He was like, no, it's not. I was like, I think it is. I think so. Sir. Okay, are we told? Oh, fuck, man. Okay, are we good? Oh, he's downloading something? Damn it! Okay, let me refresh. Okay. I think we're good. Okay. Yeah, everybody refresh chat. Okay, all right. Fuck, 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 fuck. Fuck, 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 fuck. Okay, put a 1 in the chat if we're good. One's in the chat. Anybody? Nope. Hmm. Damn it, I asked for... Shit. Damn it. We're delayed. Ah, shites. It's the fucking downloading, dude. He better be downloading something good. Okay. All right. Okay, fuck it. Whatever. It is what it is. If you think this is annoying, you should try playing backyard baseball. Oh my god. We're so delayed. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Okay. Um. Oh no, I'm on both streams. Will's chat is saying Twitch is fucking up. Fuck. No. Sucks. I hate everything. Shit. I hate time traveling. I'm so sick of it. Okay, so okay, is he not gonna stream? I thought I just heard him say that. Fuck. Oh no. Oh, this is so fucked. Hmm.